Let's see. Hey everyone. Let me invite. Um, let's see if Asia's on here. Hi everyone. I am figuring out live. So I'm trying to invite the guest, and it's not as easy as you'd think it would be. I'm going to be interviewing my friend Asia as soon as I can figure out how to do it. Let's see. Asia, are you on here? Thanks for being patient, guys. Hopefully we'll start at 4. Let's see. I'm going to see if I don't see her on here. There's Steph. Hey, Steph. Let me go see if she's texted me, you guys, because I don't see her on here. Let me go see if she's texted me, you guys, because I don't see her on here. I thought this would be easier. It would be as easy as Instagram Live is, but so far it's not. There you are, Asia. Okay. All right, Asia should be on an interview. Hello.
Let me turn my camera on. Oh, can you see me?
Not yet.
Can you see me?
I'm turning my volume up. Yeah, I can see you. Hi.
Hi.
Let's see. I wonder if you can make it where we're like
Side by
side by
side.
side.
I have no clue.
This is not as easy as I thought it would be.
That's okay. I would much rather see
Can
your
it?
face all over the screen than my face, so.
Oh, hush. All right, I guess we'll start since we're already a little late. I couldn't coffee.
Oh, okay. It looked like apple cider vinegar at first.
No. Oof. I like apple cider vinegar, but not this much of it. Okay. Everyone's on here. Hi, Mike. Hey again, Steph. Can everyone hear and see us both okay before I start?
Hi, Stephanie.
Let's see.
Hi, Karina. Oh, Mike's on too. He actually remembered.
Yay, Mike. All right. Let's go ahead and start. Sorry it took so long. I couldn't figure it out. Would you like to introduce yourself, Asia?
Sure. Okay. So, hi, I'm Asia Guerrero. I am um, from Arizona. I am 33 years old and I write stuff. I
Awesome
don't know what
stuff.
else to say.
Yes, she writes awesome stuff. I thought I would mention while we're on here, you have Unforgiving out.
I actually
And
have
then
it
you have
right next to me.
Yay! You have butterscotch coming out soon, or is it already out? I can't remember.
So it's available for pre-order right now. And its release date is actually January 4th, which is Lucian's
Oh
ninth
yeah, yeah.
birthday. So I wanted it to be a day that was special to me for more than one reason. But so yeah, so it's available for 99-cent pre-order on Kindle. Um, and then January 4th, it'll be available for paperback and stuff like that.
That's exciting. I knew it was soon, but I'm horrible with dates, so
Oh yeah, me too, usually.
it's good that you picked a date you would remember outside of that. So,
Yeah, and it's funny because I was gonna do the day after his birthday, but then I was like, oh
hmm.
no, Chaz has his coming out. I was like, I don't want to do the same day as his. So, I just went with
Oh
Lucian's birthday.
yeah.
Yeah, Chaz's release is January 5th. So,
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
It's crazy. I should probably like be better at remembering dates for arcs and stuff, but
It's hard. It
I'm
is.
not.
It's hard.
So I guess I'll start my questions for you. Um, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay. Tell me about you outside of writing. Like you said, I don't know if you mentioned that you're a mom. What other stuff do you like to do?
besides being a mom, so I have two kids, which obviously you know, but I have a boy who will be 9 in a week, and then, or actually this coming up week, and then my daughter is, 2.5. So between being a stay-at-home mom with them, I honestly, I'm like in that part of my life after having my daughter of like figuring out what I enjoy again. Because before I had her, like I was getting into a lot of like just experimenting with a lot of different things that I wanted to try, whether it be like I've done a lot of um like marathons and mud runs and things like that, and I was really big into like weightlifting, competing and things like that. Can you see me? Oh, were you able to fix it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
can
I
you
was like,
see
it looks.
yourself?
I can, yeah, it looks different. So I was like doing a bunch of stuff like that. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter and after I had her, my focus was on just that. And so like I said, now I'm back into figuring out what I enjoy now. I still love weightlifting. I still love running marathons. Um, I think that I'm not, 10 years later, I'm not the same. My body's not the same and things like that. So I'm mostly into like being cozy at home now. I really want to learn how.
Same.
I used to know. I love obviously reading. That's a given. But just like really being at home when my husband's not home, I like to binge watch a lot of the same movies and shows. But when he is home, I like watching new things with him. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just like being cozy nowadays.
I mean, that's about where I'm at as well. And reading is perfect
Yeah.
for being cozy because you can also read while being cozy.
Well, and it also works out that he likes sports, so I do a lot of my reading when he's like watching different sports games and things like that too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I guess the next question would be what inspired you to start writing?
Funny enough, I've been writing pretty much all my life, but they've never been anything that I've actually finished. Like I've started a lot of projects, but I think that I was just too overwhelmed with like how do I go about publishing? How do I go about building a community or an audience or things like that? Um, and then I met a friend of mine through I'm gonna say something most people already know about me, but I met a friend through one of my fellow polyamory groups. My friend Ivan, And he is actually a fellow horror author that we had so many things in common, but he had just published his book. I'm gonna do a little thing. He wrote The Town Beyond the Trees, and I ordered it, and I read it, and I was like, honestly, I was like, I could do this, I could totally do this, and it was after reading his book that I was like, I'm going to take one of my stories and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish a project and I'm going to do something with it. And if it goes somewhere, awesome. If it doesn't, then at least I can say that I did it finally. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much how it got started. Was so. Thank you, Ivan, for I don't even think I've ever told him that.
Yeah.
I should probably tell him that, but his book was the reason why I was like, I'm gonna finish one. I'm gonna finally do it.
You should tell him. I think that'd be like
Yeah, I'll probably
motivational
message him
for
later
him.
today and be like, hey.
I've seen you post about his book and I need to add it to my list so I can read it.
Yeah, so it's a series. He does a lot of with his podcast, so he hasn't really been able to write much more. But he does
Hmm.
have a lot in stories of like in different anthologies and things like that. So he's
Oh,
definitely someone worth checking out. He's awesome.
okay. Added to my list.
Yeah,
It's
Ivan
funny because Lopez,
Lopez, yeah.
I think I've seen you post about him on Facebook maybe.
Yeah, and he's on
Um,
Instagram a lot.
okay, I'll add him there. It's
Mhm.
funny because I've been your friend for like several years now, and I don't remember when you first like kind of announced I'm gonna start writing again,
Yeah.
but I just remember like all of a sudden we were talking about writing and horror. So
I
that was
remember,
interesting.
well, I remember like posting about like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. And then I remember you reaching out to me and saying, hey, if you ever need some kind of support. And then I don't remember us never not being really good friends after that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
went from like us knowing each other and then us being like best friends. And so,
Yeah.
it was like yeah, yeah.
We just talked about that recently. Like, I don't, I always am afraid to reach out to people because I'm like, they're going to hate me and
Hmm.
I think I'm dumb. So that was like why I kind of didn't really talk to you as much before the writing stuff. But when I saw
I
you were
feel
writing
the same way.
horror, I was like, okay, she probably won't think I'm dumb or weird.
I always feel the same way when I reach out to people too. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to start writing at first because I was like, nobody's going to read the trash that I write because I'm such a weird person. And it's nice because there's a lot of weird, trashy people out there who like me. So, and I love them
Yeah.
back. Like, I have some great readers who have turned into like amazing friends. And so I think that that's been amazing.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like the horror community in particular, if you're weird or creepy, then they're going to accept you fully.
Yeah.
Creepy in a non, like, obviously offensive way. But
Right.
yeah. Okay, so my next question for you is to tell us about butterscotch.
Okay. What's there to
Since
tell?
it's coming out soon, like, I guess give us like a quick, like, what you feel it's about at the core. Maybe, non spoiler synopsis, I guess.
Um, well, a lot of my writing really involves trauma. I think that that is at the moment what I feel I write best, just because working through a lot of my own trauma finally, it has kind of helped. And I don't want to say like, oh, the things that happen in Unforgiving and the things that happen in Butterscotch are based on my real life, but there are little tidbits in each of the books that I use some of my own trauma to build those scenarios and kind of make them like even greater.
Yeah.
So, like with Butterscotch, same thing. It's built on trauma, it's built on family trauma, it's built on trauma of the psyche and what crazy things can happen to a person when their mind is broken, um, and the things that people can overcome, and the things that, like, how reality can be distorted, and there's just it's definitely one of those books that you just really have to read it if that is your type of genre that you like. um it's just a lot of family issues, that really is not what you would expect. So
Agree. And I feel like it's a hard one to kind of like summarize without giving too much away.
it is. It took me longer to write the blurb than it did for me to write the whole book. Like I was
That
like,
makes
oh
sense.
my god! I was like, this is not my favorite thing to do right now.
No, I made a video about that recently. I'm not good at doing like a summary or
It's
synopsis at all.
hard. Like it really is hard.
What was I going to tell you? Oh, I was going to ask you about Butterscotch. Is this the first time you've written like extreme horror, and how was your experience writing like extreme horror?
Um, so it's the first time that I've written this long of a story that's extreme horror. I have a lot of like short stories I've never let anyone read before that are me extreme. And I should say that this is definitely for me. It's definitely a medium extreme. There
Yeah,
are a lot more extreme books. It's
I
definitely
agree.
based on it's definitely based on like the extremeness of the extremeness. How extreme it is definitely varies on what a person normally reads. So to
Can
me,
handle, yeah.
to me it's a medium extreme. I've had some readers are like, oh, it was the perfect amount of extreme, like my ARC readers, and then
Hmm.
some that were like, that was intense for me. Um, but I would definitely say this is the longest story that I've actually let people read that is extreme. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it's definitely not a dead inside. It's not dead inside. It's not that extreme. Um, but it's like middle of the way, yeah. I would
It's
say.
definitely well, and the reason why, like, I tell people, like, because there have been a lot of people that really liked Unforgiving. They're like, "Ooh, I want to read Butterscotch," and I'm like, "Okay, well, it's definitely worse than Butterscotch," and that's what I always tell, or it's definitely worse than Unforgiving. So, yeah, to me, it's medium extreme. Like, there are some extreme moments, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not the most extreme thing. I
No.
recently just read Blood Bag by Jason Dawn. Oh
Okay.
my god, it was phenomenal. But like, who, like,
Ah, oh, is that is I'm friends with him on Facebook, I think.
he is an amazing person. He is
Okay.
a phenomenal writer. Shut up, Mike. He just said it's similar to Cat in the Hat. You've never even read it. But no. So I read his book Blood Bag recently, and again, it was phenomenally written, but it was so vile and disgusting. I definitely give it 5 out of 5 because like if vile is your thing,
Go for that one.
blood bag is where it's at. Like it's
Okay.
yeah. To
I'm
me,
gonna add it to my
that
list.
is the worst thing. That and I mean worse in the best way. That is the worst thing I've ever read in my life. Like
Holy crap.
yeah, and yeah.
That's that's a big
It was
deal.
yeah.
Huh. I've heard that No One Rides for Free by Judith Sonnet is like the worst book most a lot of people have read. So I'm like, I'm gonna read that one next year too because I like want to see what my limit is. I
Yeah.
will say, reading Butterscotch, when I was reading it as you wrote it, I was kind of like, holy crap! Like, I have to put this down because I'm so disgusted or like disturbed. So it was
Yeah.
like shocking and gross, but not
There were,
like.
there were two parts when I was writing Butterscotch. There were two parts that it took me longer than normal to write just because like when I'm writing I get into the emotions of what I'm writing and like I had to like take a step back and be like, okay, I'm getting like way too emotional with these like scenes and stuff. So
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, let me see what the next thing I was going to ask you would be. Okay, so what do you hope as a writer that readers gain or like find or feel when they're reading your books? Well, that's a tricky
um
question, but
I think just some kind of enjoyment. I am always just so grateful that people even want to read what I write that I honestly I never think about like I hope they enjoy it, but I like I said, I'm just so always so grateful that they're even reading it that I never get past that gratitude of them actually reading it. And like I never even think about like, oh, what could their thoughts be until I read reviews. But I just some kind of enjoyment, I guess, whether it be um where they want to be disgusted or they want
Yeah.
to be invested in a story. A couple of my ARC readers, one of them was like, "I have to cancel therapy. I need to finish this book," and I was like, "Do not cancel your therapy session. You can just go to therapy." I was like, "Don't." I was like, "Don't tell your therapist that you're like I have to cancel." No, I was like, "No." I was like, "Don't do that." I was like, "You can finish afterwards." But like that kind of investment where they're so invested in the story that they're enjoying it so much they don't want to do anything else but read it. That's always my I guess that's my main thing is I just want them to be enjoying it so much that they just don't want to stop reading it, I guess.
Yeah, it was hard for me reading it as you wrote it, like
Oh
waiting
yeah.
for the next.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, this is stressful. I have to know what
Well,
happens next.
I felt stressed out because I was like, okay, I gotta keep reading, or I gotta keep writing it, I gotta keep writing it, so Kirsten can read it. And I was like,
Yeah.
in the there were some parts where I felt like I rushed the writing, and I was so grateful that you were reading it because who was I telling? I was telling somebody, but I was like, well, if Kirsten doesn't like it, then I was like, I know that I need to go back and reread it. I said because if she told me I was like, you're so sweet that when you do tell me, they're like, I know that I need to rewrite it. Especially like, remember the original ending that I had for Butterscotch?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was so bad. And I remember you were like,
Oh
I
yeah.
love you.
I
And
mean,
you're like, I don't think this is it. And I was like, okay, that means that I definitely need to rewrite this.
yeah, critical, like being overly critical to like where it's constructive for me is not
Mhm.
easy. Because I really love everything I read for the most part, but if I like don't love it, it's like a hard like I don't love it. So it's usually pretty
Right,
easy to
right.
like
That's why
tell, but
when you do tell me something, I'm like, okay, I need to change that up.
well, I appreciate that you trust my, my opinions on stuff, but
Yeah.
it was fun. I've beta read before like for Gauge and stuff like that, but this was
Mhm.
the first time I've ever experienced someone writing like, 2 or 3 chapters at a time and sending it to me. And
Right.
then, later getting to read another few chapters and then later reading all of it together. It was such a cool like experience. So I appreciate that you let me do that.
Well, I appreciate that I had somebody like you to give me the opportunity to do that.
I think it's I don't know if other authors have similar, have done that before, but I think it could be really helpful throughout the process. So,
My mindset was I didn't want to spend all this time writing all this content. Like I wanted to write it little by little and have you read it little by little. So that way if I needed to
mhm.
improve something right then and there, it's not like, oh, I have to go back and rewrite all of this content. Like, you know what I mean? So for me,
Yeah.
it made sense for like just like my time and energy to do it little by little and have you consume it little by little. So that way I wouldn't have to go back and like redo like huge parts of the story or anything like that.
That makes sense. That's actually really smart. So,
Yeah,
if I ever try my hand at writing an entire book, maybe I'll have you help me when you can.
that'd be awesome.
But I don't think I ever will because I'm lazy.
You
Um,
can, like I said, you can always do short stories. Short stories are
yeah.
fun.
I think I have an extensive writing class next semester, so
Mhm.
I don't think I'll be writing much for fun until I'm
Yeah,
done with
that makes
that.
sense.
But maybe that will prepare me for writing. My next question for you is what is your favorite thing about being an indie author so far?
Oh, definitely the community. I have
Agrees.
met some amazing authors. I've met some amazing readers, amazing like Facebook groups. I think that just like the people that I've met in this community, especially the horror indie community, I think that's been one of the best parts of it, for sure.
Agreed.
Hmm.
There's definitely some isolated incidences in the horror community, but
Right,
overall, I've never felt like as connected to people and supported by people. So I
right,
agree.
same.
Do you have anything you're working on currently?
I am. So I have a few things. I am writing a short story for an anthology that I have to finish by like March or Aprilish. I have my next novella that you've actually been starting to
Yes.
read.
Yep.
That I have to finish by like April because I told my editor I was like I'll get my next thing to you by April. She's like okay. So it's either gonna be that or the first book in my fantasy horror series. Which if you're on my Patreon, the first like 10 or so chapters
Hmm.
have been posted on there.
Is that
But
the
so
one I read as well, or a different one?
you started reading some of the first few chapters, so
Okay.
I've written a few more chapters after that.
Okay.
I just didn't want to bombard you with like all of my stuff.
Bombard me
So
away.
so whichever book, whether it be the first book in that series or my novella, whichever one I get finished with first by April is the one I'm going to give my editor. Um, if I finish both, then I might give her both. I don't know. Depends on if she is open to that or not. But yeah, so I'm working on those three things currently.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
It's going to be a great year. Do you think you'll have any other books, coming out in 2024 or, for the next year
For
after
sure.
those three?
I have a plan of having the novella and the first book in the book series for sure published in 2024. And then I also plan to put a lot of my other short stories that I've been writing over the last year or so into a collection that
Oh,
I really,
yeah.
really love. And again, if you're on my Patreon, you've probably read some of them. I'm also
This
the
one?
one that one is yes, that one is going to go into the collection. That one is going to go into the
Yay!
as well as two others that I've written, and then some other shorter ones. I actually might even um, part of me is like, do I want to do like the collection and the novella separately, or do I want to add the novella into the collection? Because I only have like three short stories that I really, really love and I really, really want to publish. And I don't know if I
Mhm.
want to do that with a novella or if I just want to like force myself to write other short stories to put into the collection. Um, I don't know. I haven't really
Maybe
decided.
maybe they'll come to you like throughout the year. You'll think of an idea and just keep adding to it.
I need to get some new post-its. I usually have post-its like all over the place, but Isaiah's always like, you can do like a post-it or post-it app on your phone, right? I'm like, yeah, but these ones I can see like all the time, every day.
No,
So
there's something about the tactile, like writing the note and sticking it that
yeah,
helps my
it
brain.
makes such a difference.
Yeah. Okay, so what book, this is the last question I have for me. What book have you read recently and loved? And you said that you read Bloodbath? I can't remember, by Jason?
Blood bag, yes, but I'm currently finishing up. I'm reading right now. I'm reading both an arc for Gage as well as an arc for Chaz.
Same.
I'm reading
Same.
both. I'm reading both of theirs. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to finish by tomorrow night before the end of the year. But my
Oh,
hope
yeah.
is to finish in the next couple days before, especially before Chaz's comes out.
Yes.
But I'm currently reading both of those. Yeah.
Both of those are on my Kindle. I started Gages, but then I was like, okay, this doesn't come out till February, so I'm gonna like read some other stuff really quick.
It's so good. Like every time I read something of his, I was like, oh, this is his best yet. And then he comes out with something new. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is his. It's kind of like with Mike. Every time he writes something, I'm like, oh, this is his best one. And then he writes something else. I'm like, oh, this is his best one. But just
Yeah.
don't tell Mike that. No, I don't know if he's still on here or not.
I think he
But
is.
it's so good. It's just
Yeah, it gets me. That's one thing about the indie horror or indie book community in general is that when I read, because I've read a couple of arcs for like fantasy indie people, like my friend Casey Sutton and
oh yeah, I
another,
know. Yeah.
yeah, another friend AR with them. He wrote a fantasy novel, but like knowing that people don't know who these people are, like you guys, and like I can't just talk to random people about you guys. And I'm like, they're so talented. Why do more people not know who they are? It's so frustrating to me because people be like, "Who's your favorite author?" Stephen King, and I'm like, "No, no." Let me tell you, but then you're gonna be like, I don't know who those people are. So that makes
Right.
me frustrated because I'm like, people like Gage, you, Mike, you know, just really talented people. I'm like, why is this the way things are set up where these people are not getting exposure and
Right.
not well known? It's really it's frustrating. So,
Right. And I think
anyways,
a lot of people in my life now know about a lot of these authors
yeah,
just because
same probably.
I talk about them all the time. You know what I mean? Like Isaiah, he he knows about Mike because Mike is whenever the 49ers are playing the Cardinals, Mike will be like, "Tell your husband we're gonna whip their butt and blah blah blah." And so I'll tell Isaiah, and he's like, "Yeah, probably." He's like, "My Cardinals suck."
That's hilarious.
So like
Yeah,
a
I
lot
mean,
of these authors.
I feel
No, go
like
ahead.
that too. Sorry. With like when I recommend a book, I try to like not say this is my friend because then I feel like people think I'm just like saying that, like,
Right, right, right.
oh, I recommend this. I was just telling my brother because he reads horror. He likes Stephen King and stuff like that, but he's like read everything. So he's like, what should I read next? And I'm like, oh, I have tons of indie recommendations. But I'm like, should I tell him these are my friends? Because then he's either not going to want to read them because he's like, she's probably just saying that, or he might want to read them more. So I'm like, let me just write you a list of just people you need to read. Yeah. But
No,
anyways, I wanted to see if anybody has. You go ahead. You go ahead. Sorry.
no. I was saying I feel the same way, but it was funny because there was one time I was talking to my
Mike.
sister-in-law. This was written by my mortal enemy. This was
I
written
hate
by
this
a
person.
raccoon in a human suit. But no, I was talking to my sister-in-law about one of the books, and I was like, "Oh yeah, my friend." And my oldest Lucian was like, "Mom, you have friends?" And I was like, "Oh God." I was like, "Well, maybe I shouldn't tell people I have friends because he's just gonna make it seem like I don't have friends."
He sounds like Sawyer. Sawyer would be like, "What friends?"
Yeah, well, and it's funny because he didn't even mean it in like a sarcastic way. He just never sees me with people because I'm always at home.
I wish you guys weren't so far away.
Oh, I know. I know.
One day we'll get to meet. So I want to know if people have questions for you that are watching. So if anyone has a question for Asia, pertaining to even her favorite color or whatever, or her books
I'm
she
open
likes,
to any
anything,
question.
let me know, and I'll wait a few minutes for those questions, and then we'll get off here. I'm still cracking up at him saying that the Cat in the Hat
He's ridiculous. I don't even know why we put up with him, honestly.
because he writes amazing books like Hollow. You guys, if you haven't read Hollow by Mike Salt, you should.
It's so good. Who would
Yeah.
win in a fight between me and
Oh
Kirsten?
gosh, I couldn't fight you.
I feel like you would
Probably
win
you. I'm sure
because I wouldn't even do anything. I would just lay there.
I wouldn't be able to fight you either. I'm not a
Okay,
fighter.
guys. You what?
I'm not a fighter.
I am not confrontational unless I'm being confrontational for someone else. Like
Same, like my kids.
I cannot be confrontational for myself. Like I cannot I won't go head to head with somebody for myself. But if somebody is doing
Me
something to
either.
someone that I love, I that's when I'm like, oh yeah, because I don't know,
It's on.
there's something in my body that blocks me from doing it for myself, but it becomes unblocked if I'm doing it for somebody else. Like I don't know
I
what
feel
it
that.
is. I don't know if it's like my mama bear comes out or whatever, but yeah, it's weird.
I'm the same way. And I'm particularly triggered by bullies. So like if I see somebody getting bullied or being a bully, that's when I'm like I'm about to fight somebody. Like I can't stand bullies.
Like
So
Mike is a bully.
he doesn't bully me though. So he
He
bullies
bullies
you.
me.
Yeah. So
He's just a
I
turd in the
probably should.
mirror.
Yeah. Hey, everybody that's just joining. If you have a question for Asia about her books or anything, let me know. I'm glad Kirsten
Thank you,
connected us. I love your
Stephanie.
books.
I feel the
I'm glad you
same
guys are.
exact way. I feel the same exact way. There are so many people who I've been introduced to because of Kirsten, and I'm just like, it's just, it's been such a good feeling. I have more friends because of you.
Same. Like I knew who Mike was because I think I followed him on Instagram, but I think you kind of were like, "Hey, you need to read Mike. He's crazy." So I'm
Oh,
like,
so you
okay.
found out who Mike was because of me? I'm so sorry.
No, I mean I knew who he was because I've been on Bookstagram for so long, and he's like pretty well known on Bookstagram. I mean he's gonna get a big head from this, but I feel like he's
He
funny,
already has
so
a
everybody's
big
like
head.
he's crazy. I know Mike Salt, but I hadn't read any of his books, and so you kind of like encouraged me, like his books are actually good, even though he's
They're
crazy.
no, they're phenomenal. If nobody has read Mike Salt's books, you need to because
Agree, agree.
Mike
He's
is a good guy,
crazy.
I hear.
He's mean. He's a hater, but he's a good writer.
True.
Let's see what else questions do you have. Oh, so someone said that they enjoyed the live and that they're going to prioritize more books that we mentioned, and they have your book, but they haven't read it yet.
That's totally okay. The fact that you even have my book,
I know.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
And Chaz said, "What is your most anticipated book of 2024, and why is it mine?"
Because I
It's
adore you,
hilarious.
that's why.
Yeah. Do you
I
really
know
not
no
know Mike stuff? He wrote Hollow. I told you about it. It's like the cave where everybody's nightmares are.
it's
Very
ridiculous.
creepy.
Okay, so I read Hollow before it came out, and I was messaging Mike the whole time because it pissed me off. I'm like, why would these people even go into the cave in the first place? Like,
Yeah,
that's where they went wrong. Like, I wouldn't have gone in there. That would have been the end of the book by like chapter one.
it's because they're white.
Yeah, right? No, it's funny because after I started reading his book, I started following this person on TikTok. It's called
Oh yeah,
Latinos Against Spooky Shit. Every
I saw that.
time somebody went into a cave, I would tag Mike. I would tag Mike
Yeah, don't go in caves
at
or
all.
weird holes in your basement
Yeah,
that you think stuff is coming out of. Don't go in that
right.
either.
Yeah,
Come
just
on.
don't don't go anywhere that you don't know what it is. Like,
Yeah,
don't do it. Don't be curious.
good,
Curiosity
good,
solves nothing.
good rule. Be boring and stay alive.
Exactly. So just be cozy at home. That's why I don't go anywhere.
Same. Do you have an anticipated or do you have a couple books you're looking forward to in 2024
Um, I mean,
other than Chaz's book?
yes, but off the top of my head, my brain is like, no.
That's how I am too.
Like, you know how like when someone's like, oh, like tell me three things about yourself, and you're like, I know nothing about myself.
Who am
Um,
I?
exactly. So kind of like that. Like I have a bunch on my TBR, but there's no way my brain's gonna remember them right now to tell you.
I feel that.
Unfortunately.
Like I looked over here and like on my dresser, I have two boxes that have like all of my author copies and arcs, and I'm like looking like which three of these could I like say mention? There's a lot.
Right.
Um, but Gage's book, Chaz's book, Butterscotch. I've already read it, but I'm excited for it to come out.
I
I
know
don't
me
know if you've
too.
seen These Things Linger by Dan Franklin. That comes out soon. He's also an indie author
That
and
actually came
friendly.
out in the winter box with
Yeah,
my chat book.
yeah.
And it definitely looked like something I would read. What did Mike say?
I'm sending you some betas. Oh, yay!
Yes.
I'm
Just be
excited.
prepared. We should start a group chat where we just get so angry at him for the stress that he gives us from what he writes.
Yeah, that's kind of
I'm
like
totally down for that.
what I probably overreacted, but I'm really excited because I want to see what kind of messed up stuff he comes up with.
Oh, who?
Mike,
Mike? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, Gage, when we were when I was arc reading for him, we had like a group chat, but I tried to avoid it because I was like, these people probably read faster than me, so I don't want to like, I don't want to see any,
Ruin things. Yeah,
yeah, any spoilers.
he has an art Facebook group right now, but I'm so afraid of like actually going in there because I'm like I'm almost done with it and I don't want the ending ruined for me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me know. You let me know when you get finish it because I think I'm like 20% into it, so not too far. Any other questions for Asia, you
hmm.
guys? Before we head off here, trying to think of any other books I'm looking forward to. There's a bunch. So,
My friend Christina, she
oh
just
yeah,
got signed with Horror Publishing. I'm looking forward to hers as well. I think hers comes out in June.
yeah. I had messaged her telling her if she wanted
Plotter
to.
or Panther?
What does that mean?
What does that even mean? What?
Like, do you plot stuff or do you
I'm
just
so confused.
pants people? I don't know what that means. I'm gonna go with pantser. I don't even know what that means,
I
but that's what I'm gonna go
mean,
with.
I'm very confused.
Somebody ask her a real
Watch him not
question.
even explain that. He's just gonna leave it like that, knowing
Yeah,
him.
I think so.
You plot your
Oh, do
books
you?
or just write as like the seat of my pants. Okay, I get it now. Um, it depends. Like, Unforgiving was kind of like by the seat of my pants. Butterscotch started out. The first draft was definitely like that, and then the second draft I plotted a lot better and like it was more intentional. Um, the ones that I'm writing right now are definitely more plotted out. Like it's definitely. We were talking about this earlier about how
Yeah,
I'm definitely more structured. Freaking, you were like 2 years older than us. Like,
you're honorary millennial.
uh, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm definitely a little bit more structured now. I wasn't before, like at all. I like.
Can you guys hear my rooster crowing? I'm sorry if you can. He's
Oh,
like
that's
right
your
by
rooster?
he's right by my
I
window
thought that was your.
crowing.
I thought that was your children because it sounds like my children.
No, it's my rooster. He's like, let me get right under this window and crow really loud. All right, any more questions for Asia before we get off here?
Oh, I can hear it
No,
now.
no. Yeah, he's right there. Pikachu.
Yeah, I can hear it now.
In dog years, that's a
Oh
lot
yes,
of
I took
years.
pictures. True, but you're a raccoon, so you're not a dog.
Yeah, in raccoon years, what is it though? All right, I don't see any other. Oh wait, Steph says thanks for doing this. It's been great. Thank you guys all so much for joining. This is my
Yeah,
last.
thank you.
Oh, who's your favorite
God,
starter
Mike.
Pokemon?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I haven't watched Pokemon in years. Lucy has a bunch of Pokemon cards. Probably Squirtle. Is he a starter Pokemon? Is Squirtle?
hmm Yeah.
Right? He
Uh,
is.
I don't know really what starter Pokemon means. I'm old and not up with the.
Pretty sure he's a starter Pokemon.
Is Gengar a starter
You
Pokemon?
are frozen.
Hello, hello. You see me?
Are you frozen?
Hello.
Am I frozen?
No, you're not. Can you see
You see
me?
me? I can see you. You froze for a
Okay.
second.
Sorry. I guess I'll wrap it up because it seems like my internet's going crazy, but you can pre-order butterscotch right on Amazon.
Mhm.
99 cents.
Yes. Yeah, if people actually go to my beacons link on my profile, it'll
Okay.
have like instead of having to search for it because Amazon is weird sometimes, there's a direct link on there for the pre-order link.
Okay. All right, and you can also still order Unforgiving, correct? It's
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Well, thank you so much for being on here with me. And everyone go follow
Oh, thank you for
Asia
asking me.
and show her some
Yeah,
love.
I post some random stuff.
Same. All right, I'll let you go, but thanks for being on again and love you and have a great day.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.